Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back to another episode of Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. So, a lot has happened in the last week, so if you missed last Tuesday's episode, make sure you go and check it out. But yeah, there's been a lot going on in the last 7 days, including 2 matches and a signing. So to start things off, slightly old news now, but on Wednesday last week we played against Bradford away in the friendly game. I wasn't there. A huge Newcastle following went to that game, so if you were there, I hope you enjoyed it, and we won 4-0. So Gale got a goal, Mitro got a goal, and the new signing Jacob Murphy got 2 goals. So yes, as always, pre-season, it's all mainly about fitness and so on. First half was actually 0-0, although we actually had the better of the game. We had more chances, Richie hit the bar, and it was actually second half when we got 4 goals. So half time, and then obviously as the second half went on, a lot of changes were made, basically to give everyone a run out in the game. So that was game number 1, friendly number 1. We then went on and played against Mines. We did lose that game 2-1. They got a goal after 4 minutes, which is never great. We got an equaliser from Gamez. Pretty much a freak goal. He had a shot, it deflected, it hit the post, then it hit the keeper, and then it went in. But you know, they all count. Not sure why Gamez was so high up the pitch, but you know, it was a goal. And then unfortunately, they pretty much got a last minute winner as well. So they got the early goal, they got the late goal, and we lost 2-1. But again, it's pre-season. Mines is a step up from the teams, like, no offence to them obviously, but like Preston, like Bradford, they are a Bundesliga side, so they were going to be a harder opposition. And apparently it was as high as 28 degrees out there in that game, which is obviously very hot and not something players playing in Newcastle will be very used to. So obviously disappointing to lose any game, but like I said, it is pre-season. There was a lot of changes going on, as you'd expect. And yeah, it's just to get the team ready for that game against Tottenham in just under 2 weeks' time. But something that happened in between that first friendly and the second friendly against Mainz was we signed on loan, season-long loan, Marino. So he used to play for Dortmund, central defensive midfielder, although he can obviously play standard centre midfield, and he can play at centre back as well. He actually got brought on for the friendly against Mainz and played centre back. Obviously not his preferred position, but he can play there, and obviously Rafa just wanted to get him on the pitch, get some minutes in with the team, and just get that fitness going, ready for the season starting. So, as I said, he played for Dortmund. We now have him on a season-long loan. Dortmund has a lot of centre midfielders, a lot of good players over there, and he just wasn't getting the game time that he wanted. He played a handful or a few more times for Dortmund last season. He said he wants to come to a club where he can get that game time, and he can progress and just improve as a player. He is Spanish. He's only 21 years old. He's played in the Spanish under-21s team alongside of like Bellerin of Arsenal and so on. And obviously we do have a splattering of Spanish players at Newcastle. So obviously that's something there, help him fit in, bed in with the team when you know people who also speak the same language as you. So it is a season-long loan, but it's actually written in to the contract that once he makes a certain amount of appearances this season, we sign him. So if he's playing well, if he looks good and he's playing a lot of games, we will then sign him from Dortmund. If he comes in, isn't that great, doesn't get that much game time, then he will go back to Dortmund. So it really just depends on how well he plays for the start of the season, and as it goes on, we'll determine whether we actually bring him in permanently or whether we don't. I am hoping he comes in and does well for the squad, and that he does have that many appearances, you know, that he is good enough to get that many appearances so that we do sign him permanently. Obviously, he's got competition for centre defensive mid. You know, Hayden was really good last season, and then you know, like Shelby, Colback to Yorme, maybe not so much, but you know, yeah, he looks like a good player, and fingers crossed he is going to come in and really improve our starting 11 and definitely the squad. So yes, that was 2 friendlies. We won 1, we lost 1, and we brought in a new player, Marino. So adding to this week, You might have seen it. Rafa Benitez had an interview at 9 Bar. Basically, it's been advertised for a little while now, and he was in there obviously answering questions in front of a crowd of Newcastle United fans. So he said a few different things. One, he was obviously just asked about his commitment to the club and moving forward and so on. Apparently he had a massive offer from China in the summer to go and manage over there, and he said, no, I want to stay with Newcastle, which is obviously great to hear. With the rumours of him not being overly happy with the transfers that have gone on so far and everything like that, it's always great to hear it. You know, since getting promoted with Rafa, it's always been the hope, and I've always kind of, you know, when you get a club promoted, you want to stick with them, you want to see how you can do in the Prem as well. So I've never been overly worried, but it's always great for him to hear him say it. And I remember back, because this is week 10 of this now, Toon Tuesday, so it feels like it's been going on forever. I remember when I first started and I was talking about transfers and so on, and I was saying how Rafa said that he wanted to have, you know, 6-7 players before the pre-season even started at the start of July, and that didn't really happen. Obviously we've brought in a handful of players now, which is great, but just moving back to that, Rafa said in the interview that he wanted 4 or 5 players in May. So considering I was saying he wanted them for the pre-season on the 1st of July, he wanted them back in May. And obviously that never materialised. Basically what he was saying was, because the transfer window is so long, if he goes in for a player, they've still, in May, that player still has 3 or so months or longer to work out whether he wants to come to Newcastle or are there any other clubs interested. So because it's so long, and because Rafa doesn't have the huge money or the huge wages to immediately attract a player that he's interested in, I suppose the only slightly alarm bell with that is that if Rafa had 4 or 5 players he wanted in May, presumably the players that we are bringing in now are not those same players. So all the players we're bringing in now, Rafa's second choice to the players that he actually wanted back 2 or 3 months ago? I guess so, but at the same time, Rafa's a smart bloke and he's not going to bring players in that he doesn't think are going to do well for the club. And I mean, every single team in the Prem, Championship, League One will have targets at the start of the window, and it doesn't always mean that you're going to get them. Quickly, I mentioned Lewis Gibson. If you don't know who this lad is, he's a young lad at Newcastle, was on the books but hadn't been offered that professional contract. And basically, because we hadn't, Everton have come in and now offered him that contract. Obviously, the controversy is, why are Newcastle not keeping their talented players on the books? Should we not have had him signed up early? Why have we allowed Everton to come in and get him? We are supposedly going to receive around £5 to £6 million for him because he wasn't over a certain age. You can't basically poach young players from other clubs. So we will receive some compensation money. It's not like a transfer, it's like compensation for taking one of our young players away. So let me know what you think about that. So as I mentioned, we've had 2 friendlies in the last week. We have another one tomorrow against Wolfsburg over in Germany. So if you are lucky enough to be over there and watching that game, then I really hope you enjoy it. Again, another pre-season friendly, probably the toughest opposition we've had so far in the pre-season. You know, Wolfsburg are a very decent side, so I'm interested to see how we do as a team, what starting lineup Rafa puts out, what happens in the second half with players coming on, because honestly I still can't tell you what I think our starting 11 will be come the start of the season. And then on Sunday afternoon we have our friendly against Hellas Verona. I've mentioned this in every video for the last 5 weeks or something, but yeah, it's this Sunday. It's at St James's Park. Tickets are £10 for adults, £5 for kids. So yeah, if you fancy it, there's still plenty of tickets. And then the week after that is the start of the Premier League against Tottenham. So yeah, we are literally so close. There's still time for transfers. There's a lot going on. The transfer that I will mention for this video, I don't normally try and go into it too much for speculation and so on, but the link with Lucas Perez from Arsenal. Obviously, I imagine there's more clubs interested than just us. If the interest from us is actually genuine. He went to Arsenal, he never really got the game time that he deserved. And if you came to us, I think that'll be a massive improvement on our striking situation along with Gale and Mitro. So yeah, let me know what you think about him. But as always guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Drop a like and subscribe if you are new. I'll be back on Thursday for another video, and then I will be vlogging the friendly on Sunday, so make sure you look out for that. But yes guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.